6 lucky numbers to win big lottery jackpot on Sunday, June 8, 2025. Buddhist teachings. Have you ever wondered if luck could be more than just chance? What if the numbers you choose this Sunday aren't just lucky, but aligned with something deeper, something sacred? Welcome to the Journey of Wisdom, where we explore life's hidden layers through the lens of mindfulness, compassion, and ancient insight. Today's not just about hitting the jackpot, it's about awakening to what's already within you, because behind each of these 6 numbers lies a quiet teaching, a story, a mirror. From the powerful presence of number 11, the wake-up code, to the grounded wisdom of number 4, these aren't just digits. They are spiritual invitations to reconnect with your truth, your peace, and your path. So whether you're here to manifest abundance or simply seeking clarity in a noisy world, this message is for you. Let's begin not just with luck, but with awareness. 1. Number 11, the wake-up code. Among the 6 lucky numbers believed to hold spiritual weight on Sunday, June 8th, one number rises gently like the morning mist, number 11, often called the wake-up code. Unlike loud signals or flashy signs, some truths come to us in whispers, and the number 11 is exactly that, a quiet messenger, a sacred nudge from the universe. In numerology, 11 is known as a master number, not because it commands, but because it awakens. It brings a deeper calling not to chase more, but to pause and uncover what has always been inside. In our modern world, where constant achievement is idolized and distraction is the norm, it's no wonder we lose our inner compass. This number doesn't tell you to add more to your to-do list, it tells you to remove what isn't real, until you're left with your truth. I once met a woman named Hana at a peaceful Zen temple in Kyoto. She had done everything right for decade school, job, family. But while waiting at a red light one day, she burst into tears. Not from pain, but from the realization that she no longer knew what she truly wanted. And that same day, 111 appeared on her phone. She brushed it off, but the pattern wouldn't leave her alone. Receipts, clocks, license plates. Slowly, she began to ask herself the question she'd been avoiding. What is my life trying to tell me? That question, quiet but honest, brought her back to herself. She didn't abandon anything. She simply started choosing mindfully. In small ways, she shifted her days toward truth. That's the energy of 11 awakening, not ambition. The Buddha said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." But more importantly, he also taught that true seeing comes from stillness. Right view, as described in the Noble Eightfold Path, is about clarity untainted by fear or pressure. Similarly, astrologically, 11 is linked to Uranus, the planet of spiritual breakthroughs and intuitive rebellion. It tends to arrive when everything looks fine on the surface, but feels empty inside. So if lately you've been restless, if your heart is tugging quietly, and your days feel like a performance, this is number 11 trying to get your attention. Sit with the question, where in my life am I following someone else's script? Don't rush to answer. Let the stillness speak. Let this reflection be an act of compassion toward yourself. Because when you take even one small action from a place of inner truth, life meets you there. Doors open, the heaviness lifts. And you finally see it wasn't the world holding you back. It was the disconnection from your own voice. Your affirmation today: I trust the wisdom within me. My life aligns when I listen deeply. Number 11 is not noise. It's a soft, sacred bell reminding you to return not to what others expect, but to who you've always been beneath it all. 2. Number 7. The inner compass to clarity. Stillness isn't just about doing nothing. It's about being fully present and discovering something deeper inside you. In the way that number 3 brings creativity and number 4 builds foundations, number 7 calls us inward, like a wise monk walking a quiet path. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase success for the sake of it. Instead, it pauses, reflects, and listens. Number 7 is the mystic energy, gentle but powerful, and it invites you to slow down and ask yourself not, what's next, but why am I doing any of this in the first place? That question alone can change everything. In the world of numerology, 7 represents the seeker of truth, the one who looks beyond appearances and asks deeper questions. And on June 8th, this energy is especially strong. It offers you a chance to step away from the pressure of achievement and instead reconnect with meaning, with awareness, and with your true self. Let me share something that might help make this real. Linda, a woman in her 50s who had built an amazing business, realized she had everything except peace. Her mind raced constantly, and even though her life looked perfect on paper, she felt lost. But when she was forced to stop due to burnout, she began sitting in silence each morning for just 7 minutes. At first, it felt strange and even pointless, but over time, she began to feel a shift. She heard her own voice again, not the voice of stress or society, but her own clear truth. This, my friend, is what number 7 gives us: not loud answers, but quiet knowing. In Buddhist tradition, 7 carries sacred meaning too. It's said that after the Buddha was born, he took 7 steps, each one a symbol of awakening, not ambition. That's why the number 7 reminds us to walk not toward ego, but toward enlightenment. So here's something I invite you to try. For the next 7 days, take 7 minutes each morning to sit quietly, just you and your breath. Don't try to solve anything, just listen. And afterward, write down the answer to this question: what am I truly searching for right now? You may be surprised by what your heart tells you, because clarity doesn't come from rushing or scrolling. It comes from stillness. Affirmation of the day: I trust the quiet voice within. I am guided not by noise, but by wisdom. Let the energy of 7 guide you not toward a bigger to-do list, but toward a more aligned life. When you walk with awareness, everything else begins to fall into place. What is your heart quietly trying to tell you today? 3. Number 3. Joyful expression, the currency of the soul. Let's talk about something powerful today, something that doesn't just change luck, but transforms lives from the inside out, the number 3. Now, I want you to hear this not just with your ears, but with your heart, because this isn't just about winning a jackpot, it's about winning your voice back. In spiritual numerology, the number 3 is the number of joyful expression. It's the pulse of creativity, the echo of laughter, and the freedom to speak your truth without fear. It's often called the child of the universe, and maybe that child still lives in you, the part that once sang, danced, scribbled poems in the margins, or dreamed boldly without shame. Somewhere along the way, many of us silence that voice. We trade wonder for routine and boldness for being practical. But as the Buddha taught, there is no fire like passion, no shark like hatred, no snare like folly, no torrent like craving. If our life becomes about simply following the rules others wrote, we become a shadow of who we're meant to be. Let me ask you, when was the last time you felt truly alive? When was the last time you let yourself create just because it felt good? I met a man named Dan on a mindfulness retreat, a quiet soul who had lived 3 decades behind a desk doing what he was supposed to do. But one day, he picked up a pen, scribbled a few lines in a journal, and something shifted. A friend read one of his poems and said, this is you." That recognition lit a flame in him. Within a year, he published his first book. He didn't just change careers, he reawakened. That's the energy of 3. And in Buddhist teachings, it mirrors the Trikaya, the three bodies of the Buddha: Nirmanakaya, your visible life; Sabhogakaya, the joyful, imaginative self; and Dharmakaya, the formless truth you carry in your heart. Together, they remind us, you are not just someone going through motions, you are a living poem. So I ask you, what's the poem inside you right now that you're too afraid to share? What truth are you burying because it's not the right time? Write it down, sing it out, paint it, whisper it, but don't keep it hidden. Because, as the Dhammapada says, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Today's affirmation is simple. My voice is a gift. My story is sacred. The world needs to hear me unedited, unfiltered, and fully alive. Let this number guide you not just to material fortune, but to spiritual fullness, to being whole, to being you. If you've made it this far, you're already aligning yourself with the wisdom that could change your fortune. These 6 lucky numbers, inspired by Buddhist teachings, may be the key to your breakthrough this Sunday, June 8th, 2025. Comment "Lucky Path" below to show your belief in mindful prosperity. Don't click away, there's still more insight ahead that could guide you toward your winning moment. Stay with us until the end and let the journey to abundance begin. 4. Number 26. Wealth with wisdom. Number 26. Wealth with wisdom. A reminder that true prosperity isn't about racing toward riches, but about rooting deeply into what matters. In the quiet maturity of this number lies a sacred balance, the kind that grows from integrity rather than ambition, from clarity rather than noise. As we reach the middle seasons of life, the ages of 30 to 65, many of us are not just working to provide, but also searching for purpose. Number 26 gently asks, is your outer success matching your inner truth? In numerology, the union of 2 intuition and diplomacy with 6 nurturing and responsibility gives us a vibration that says, wealth is not just about what we earn, but how we earn it. Let me tell you about Carlos, a 48-year-old executive I met at a Buddhist-inspired financial retreat. Outwardly, he had everything: the title, the salary, the respect. But he looked around one day and realized he had built a life filled with duties and deadlines, but drained of meaning. I feel like I'm managing a life I never chose, he told us. That moment was his awakening. He didn't walk away from his life, he paused. A compassionate sabbatical, he called it. During those 3 months, he rediscovered simple joys, walking slowly, having real dinners with his family, and mentoring younger colleagues not for recognition, but for connection. He later returned to his job, not as a different man, but as someone who finally understood why he worked. He earned less, but lived more. That is the wisdom of 26. It's not about abandoning success, it's about redefining it. It mirrors the middle way, the Buddhist path that avoids the extremes of indulgence and deprivation. If you feel you're endlessly grinding but spiritually starving, if your calendar is packed but your soul feels empty, then perhaps it's time to sit with these gentle but piercing questions. Is this the life I truly want? Is my work feeding my values or just my bills? Am I chasing more or choosing better? These reflections don't ask you to throw everything away. They invite you to bring mindful awareness into your next step. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Start there, maybe by saying no to just one unnecessary meeting, or by going for a short walk without your phone. Choose to be present rather than productive, even just once a day. Remember, wealth without wisdom becomes a heavy load, but wealth guided by awareness, compassion, and clarity that becomes your freedom. So repeat this softly to yourself. I create abundance with clarity and compassion. My success is rooted in truth. Let number 26 serve as your quiet teacher, reminding you that you were never meant to simply survive this life. You are here to craft a life that feels deeply, honestly, and joyfully yours. 5. Number 4. The silent architect of fortune. Let's talk about the power of number 4. No, the flashy kind of power that shouts for attention, but the kind that works quietly, patiently, and with purpose. Number 4 is the steady hand behind real success, the calm voice that says, go slow, be intentional, lay the brick properly. It's the number of foundation, discipline, and daily effort qualities that often get overlooked in a world rushing toward instant results. Think about it. How often do we chase big wins, quick answers, or shiny distractions, only to feel empty or burnt out? Number 4 reminds us that true fortune, spiritual, emotional, or even financial, is not something we stumble into by luck, but something we build with care. There's a story I want to share with you about Terence, a retired army veteran who spent most of his life giving to others but never really built something just for himself. At 62, he chose to plant a simple garden on unused land behind his house, not to impress anyone, not for money, but to reconnect with himself. Slowly, day by day, he worked the soil, planted seeds, and stayed with it. 5 months later, not only did he have fresh vegetables, but he found healing in his soul. As he put it, "I didn't just grow vegetables, I rebuilt my soul." Isn't that beautiful? That's the quiet magic of number 4. It transforms you from the inside out. In Buddhism, this is echoed in the Eightfold Path. Every step, right speech, right effort, right livelihood must be walked with mindfulness and dedication. No part can be rushed. It's the daily showing up, the quiet consistency that leads to awakening, and that applies to all parts of life. Want financial peace? Start tracking your spending. Want better health? Move your body a little every day. Want deeper relationships? Keep showing up with love, honesty, and patience. Numerology links the number 4 to Saturn, the planet of karma and responsibility. It teaches us that nothing is free, but everything built with intention is worth it. Spiritually, it connects with the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and air, and when those are in balance, so are we. So if you're feeling scattered, lost, or like you keep starting over, this is your invitation. Build a real foundation. Ask yourself, what area of my life needs stronger structure? What one small habit can I commit to every day for the next 30 days? Write it down. Don't do it for applause. Do it for your future self. Let today's small act be tomorrow's peace, because lasting success isn't found in one big moment. It's found every morning you rise and quietly recommit to your path. Affirmation of the day. Each small step I take today builds the life I deserve tomorrow. I trust the process. I am the architect of my peace. What are you building today that your future self will thank you for? 6. Number 35. Sacred transformation in motion. I want to speak directly to your heart about the sacred energy of the number 35, a number that doesn't shout for attention, but gently invites you into transformation that is both meaningful and kind. Unlike the chaotic kind of change we often fear, the power of 35 is quiet, intentional, and full of wisdom. It's a blend of the creative spirit of number 3, which brings joy, expression, and imagination, and the adventurous heartbeat of number 5, which stands for freedom, change, and stepping beyond your comfort zone. Together, these two numbers form a beautiful rhythm that tells you, grow boldly, but grow mindfully. You don't have to tear everything down to start fresh. You simply have to begin where you are, with awareness and compassion. The Buddha once said, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract." What you imagine, you create. So ask yourself, what dream has been waiting patiently in the background of your life, quietly hoping you'll turn toward it with new eyes? Let me share with you the story of Marcus, a man who spent 60 years living a life that was safe but silent. When his granddaughter asked him what he truly wanted to be, he remembered his long-lost dream of being a photographer. That question stirred something deep inside him. And instead of quitting everything, he simply picked up a camera and started walking around his neighborhood every Sunday, capturing beauty that had always been there but now seen with awakened eyes. That, dear listener, is the spirit of 35. Not a revolution, but a revelation. Not disruption, but realignment. Buddhism teaches us about anicca impermanence and reminds us that change is not our enemy, but our greatest teacher. So as the energy of Sunday, June 8th, draws near, and the winds of the lottery, perhaps just the winds of life, feel alive around you, consider this. What part of you is quietly asking to grow? Could it be a talent, a calling, a truth you've been too polite to acknowledge? Transformation doesn't always arrive with a roar sometimes. It begins with a whisper. So, I invite you to pause and reflect. What truth have I been carrying that is ready to be lived? Remember, you don't have to start over to feel alive. You just have to start listening. Let number 35 guide you like a wise old friend, gently showing you that your life doesn't need to be burned down to be reborn. Just breathe. Take one honest step and let the journey unfold. As you do, hold this affirmation close. I welcome change with clarity. I evolve with purpose and peace. By staying with us, you've already taken the first step toward transforming luck into wisdom and chance into opportunity. These 6 numbers, guided by Buddhist insight, may be the sign you've been waiting for. Drop a "prosper with peace" in the comments to claim your energy of abundance. Keep watching. True fortune favors the mindful. Rewrite the story from scarcity to inner abundance. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you do, it's never enough? Like you're always running, chasing, grasping, yet still falling short? That quiet, nagging fear of not having enough, whether it's money, love, time, or worth, is the voice of scarcity. It's a story many of us unknowingly carry, shaped by past wounds, cultural pressure, and fear of lack. But what if that story could change? What if you could trade the heaviness of not enough for the lightness of inner abundance, a deep sense of peace, gratitude, and sufficiency that doesn't depend on your circumstances? The good news is, you can. This transformation doesn't require massive external change. It begins within with small, intentional practices that gently rewire your inner world. In this guide, we'll explore 4 powerful tools to help you rewrite your story from scarcity to abundance: gratitude journaling, positive affirmations, creating sacred space, and giving unconditionally. These aren't just habits, they're acts of self-liberation. Practice 1. Gratitude journaling. Each day, our minds are bombarded with subtle and loud messages of scarcity: not enough time, not enough money, not enough success, not enough love. And this constant narrative creates a deep sense of unease, a feeling that we are falling behind or lacking something essential. But in truth, peace doesn't come from having more. It comes from seeing more clearly. One powerful and transformative way to rewrite this internal story of scarcity into one of inner abundance is through the practice of gratitude journaling. As simple as it may sound, pausing daily to write down 3 to 5 things you are genuinely grateful for can shift your entire mindset. And the key is specificity, not just writing, "I'm grateful for my family," but "I'm grateful for the way my daughter smiled at me this morning," or "for the warmth of my morning coffee as it wrapped around my hands like a comforting friend." By doing this, we train our minds to see the fullness of our lives, not just what's missing. Neuroscience now confirms what ancient teachings have long known. Our brains adapt and rewire based on what we focus on. So when we focus on gratitude, we begin to see more reasons to be grateful. The Buddha once said, "Let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we got sick, at least we didn't die. So, let us all be thankful." This quote reflects a profound truth. Gratitude isn't about perfection, it's about perspective. It helps build emotional resilience because it reminds us that there is always something meaningful in our lives, even during difficult times. In our modern lives, filled with constant comparison on social media and endless demands, this practice acts like a gentle anchor that brings us back to what's real and nourishing. Gratitude journaling isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about training our minds to also see the light, even when the day feels dark. And when we consistently recognize these small joys, we begin to experience a quiet but powerful abundance that doesn't depend on how much we own or achieve. The ancient Zen master Dogen once said, "A flower falls even though we love it, and a weed grows even though we do not love it." This reminds us that life is always unfolding in ways we can't control, but what we choose to see and appreciate can change everything. So if you find yourself caught in the noise of not enough, come back to the present moment, take a breath, and ask yourself, what right now is beautiful, comforting, or kind? Then write it down. Over time, this quiet practice becomes a sacred ritual, a way to connect to your heart and train your mind to dwell in enoughness. In doing so, you're not just making a list, you're rewriting your story from scarcity to inner abundance. Practice 2. Positive affirmations. Let's take a moment to talk about something powerful, something simple, that, when practiced with sincerity and consistency, can begin to shift the way you see yourself and the world around you. It's called positive affirmation, and it's not just about repeating nice words to yourself. It's a deep, intentional practice that gently rewires the beliefs you've carried, especially those rooted in scarcity, fear, and unworthiness. Many of us, knowingly or not, carry around stories we didn't write. Stories that tell us we're not enough, that there's not enough to go around, or that joy and success are reserved for others. These beliefs quietly shape our choices, reactions, and even the way we relate to others. But what if you could rewrite that story starting with just a few simple sentences spoken daily with awareness and heart? You can. And that's where positive affirmations come in. To begin, choose affirmations that reflect the truth of your inner worth and the abundance that surrounds you. Statements like, "I am enough," "I trust that there is more than enough for everyone," or "I am worthy of love, joy, and peace." These are not just words, they are seeds. And when you speak them aloud each day, or write them in your journal, or sit quietly in meditation and gently repeat them in your mind, you begin to plant these seeds deep within your consciousness. And just like a seed needs time, light, and care to grow into a tree, these affirmations need your patience, your voice, and your presence. You might wonder, can saying a few phrases really change how I feel? The answer is, not instantly, but yes, absolutely, over time, as you keep showing up. Just as harmful thoughts once shaped your view, healing thoughts can reshape it too. What begins to shift is not just the language you use, but the energy behind it. Fear begins to soften into trust. Resistance turns into openness. The tight grip of not enoughness loosens its hold. You start to relate to yourself with more kindness, and from that place, your relationships with others often become more compassionate too. Because when you know you're enough, you're less likely to compete, compare, or cling. And in that space, you begin to live from inner abundance, not external lack. Isn't it worth asking, what story have I been telling myself all these years? And what would it feel like to tell a new one rooted in truth, hope, and self-respect? Every time you affirm your worth, you're training your mind to notice the good, to expect goodness, and to recognize that you are already whole. And this doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means holding your struggles with honesty, but not letting them define your entire story. One day at a time, one breath at a time, you're creating space for a different version of you to emerge, a version rooted not in fear of scarcity, but in trust that there is, and always has been, enough. So here's what I invite you to carry forward. You are not your doubts. You are not the voice that says you're behind, unworthy, or broken. You are the awareness behind that voice, and that awareness can choose a new narrative. Let your daily affirmations be the gentle repetition of that new story. Keep going even when it feels awkward. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love. And as you do, notice how the world around you starts to reflect what you've begun to believe inside. Lesson to remember: your inner world creates your outer experience. By choosing affirmations aligned with abundance and worthiness, you reshape your identity from within. You begin to live from a place of enoughness, less driven by fear, more led by trust. So ask yourself today, what do I want to believe about myself? And then say it, again and again, until it becomes real. Practice 3. Give unconditionally. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you gave something, not because you had to, but simply because it felt right in your heart? No strings attached, no hidden agenda, just the pure act of giving. This is what we call unconditional giving, and it's one of the most powerful ways to shift from a mindset of scarcity to a deep sense of inner abundance. You see, many of us have grown up in a world that constantly tells us we don't have enough, not enough time, not enough money, not enough recognition, not enough love. This scarcity mindset traps us in a cycle of fear and control. We start holding tightly to what we have, afraid it might run out. But the truth is, the more we cling, the emptier we feel. The Buddha once said, "If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path." This simple truth is at the heart of today's practice. Give unconditionally. Now, let's make this clear. Giving unconditionally doesn't mean we must give away everything we own or sacrifice ourselves to exhaustion. It starts with small, sincere acts, offering a kind word to someone who's down, helping a friend without expecting praise, or even just sharing your attention fully with someone in need of it. These small moments are like planting seeds. Each one opens the heart and begins to dismantle the belief that we are lacking. Ask yourself this: what do I have right now that I can give freely? Maybe it's your time, your kindness, your patience, or even your smile. Giving in this way doesn't just help others, it helps you reconnect with your own sense of sufficiency and worth. In fact, giving without expectation becomes a mirror. It reflects back to you the truth that abundance isn't measured by how much you hold on to, it's felt by how much you're able to let go. Here's something to think about deeply. Why do we hesitate to give? Often it's fear of being taken advantage of, fear that we'll be left with nothing, fear that we're not enough. But fear tightens the heart. Generosity, on the other hand, opens it. When we give from a place of openness, we're not just changing someone else's day, we're changing the story we tell ourselves about who we are. We're no longer the character trapped by limitation. We become the storyteller who realizes there's more than enough within us to give, and still enough left to thrive. The Dalai Lama once said, "Generosity is the most natural outward expression of an inner attitude of compassion and loving kindness." And that's exactly the point. We don't give because we want to be seen a certain way. We give because it aligns us with the kind of person we truly are, someone who is not defined by fear, but by love. So I invite you to reflect, what would it look like to make giving a natural part of your life, not as a duty, but as a joyful practice? How might your relationships, your inner world, even your daily mood begin to shift if you replace the habit of holding on with the habit of letting go? This isn't about being reckless with your energy or your resources. It's about trusting that you are not running out, that you, right now, have something of value to offer. And in that offering, you remind yourself, I am enough. From that place, giving becomes not a transaction, but a transformation. A sacred act that breaks down the illusion of scarcity and reveals the truth abundance lives in the open hand, not the closed fist. So as you go through your day today, look for just one small, genuine opportunity to give. Don't overthink it. Just notice what someone needs, and if it's within your power, offer it. Then feel what happens inside you, that quiet warmth, that lightness that's the echo of inner abundance, reminding you that you're already rich beyond measure. If this message touched something in your heart, leave a comment below with just one word: give. No need to explain, just type give, and let that be your quiet act of sharing today. Practice 4. Create a sacred space. Creating a sacred space may seem like a small gesture, but its impact ripples deeply through our daily lives, especially when we are learning to shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of inner abundance. In a world where we're often pulled in many directions, juggling responsibilities, deadlines, family, and the pressure to keep up, we rarely pause long enough to hear ourselves think, let alone connect with the deeper parts of who we are. This is why dedicating a small area in your home for stillness and presence is such a powerful act. It's not about how fancy or picture-perfect the space looks. It's about creating an environment that gently reminds you, you matter. Your well-being is important. Your inner peace is worth protecting. This space becomes more than just a corner of the house. It becomes a soft landing for your heart after a long day, a place where you can exhale, reflect, and come home to yourself. Begin with something simple. Choose a corner or a surface where you feel safe and undisturbed, even if it's just a windowsill or a shelf. Add items that carry meaning to you, not because they are expensive or trendy, but because they make you feel seen. A candle that gives off a gentle glow, a photo that reminds you of love, a crystal or a stone you picked up on a peaceful walk, or even a small note with words that soothe your spirit. These aren't decorations. They are extensions of your inner world, placed with intention. In this way, the space starts to mirror back to you what you're learning to cultivate inside: calmness, presence, and the quiet richness of simply being. With time, visiting your sacred space, even for just a few minutes a day, becomes a form of self-honoring. It sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind that you are no longer chasing worth through doing more or having more. You are now learning to receive stillness, to value the unseen treasures of peace, clarity, and connection. And the beauty is, the more you invest your presence in this space, the more it will start to nourish you in return. Like a garden tended with care, it begins to grow something deep inside. The ability to sit with yourself and feel full, not from external things, but from the quiet company of your own soul. This practice is not about escaping life, it's about embracing it with a renewed center. When the world feels overwhelming or uncertain, your sacred space can serve as an anchor, reminding you that even in the chaos, you carry a wellspring of calm within. Especially for those of us aged 30 to 65, who may be navigating transitions, losses, new roles, or simply seeking deeper meaning, this space offers something profoundly stabilizing. It becomes a bridge back to what really matters, a gentle companion in your journey toward inner abundance. So as you go about your day, know this: creating space for yourself is not selfish. It's a sacred act of remembering who you are beneath the noise, and returning to that truth again and again is one of the kindest things you can do. And there you have its 6 powerful numbers, each carrying not just the possibility of external luck, but the deeper invitation to reconnect with your truth, your stillness, and your sacred inner abundance. Remember, winning the lottery isn't just about numbers on a ticket. Sometimes, the real jackpot is awakening to the life you already have and choosing to live it with mindfulness, compassion, and courage. If this video touched your heart or gave you something meaningful to reflect on, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming teachings and insights. Until next time, may your path be clear, your heart be light, and your days be filled with quiet joy. Stay mindful, stay true. Peace and blessings from The Journey of Wisdom.